Hello students, myself Jinali Shah welcomes you on behalf of Saraswat International Academy. Students, today we will begin with the next part of the chapter, Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Students, you are aware that we have studied the concept of the monohybrid experiment, from which Mendel derived two important conclusions, that was law of dominance and law of segregation. We have studied the exceptions to the law of, or we were studying the exceptions to the law of dominance. We have studied one of the exceptions, that is incomplete dominance, where there was no dominant recessive relationship between the plants. Now today we will study the concept of codominance. First of all, what is dominance? That in a pair of a dissimilar allele, one of the allele expresses its character and does not allow the other allele to express its character. The allele which expresses the character is called as dominant allele, and the allele which does not expresses its character or which remains unexpressed, it is called as a recessive allele. In the last lecture, we have studied regarding the incomplete dominance. What was incomplete dominance? That in the cross between the pure individuals in the F1 hybrid condition, none of them were showing the dominant recessive relationship. Instead of that, the intermediate condition was developed. That condition was called as incomplete dominance. We have taken the example of dog flower, where the pure red and pure white flowers, when crossed, then in the F1 generation it developed the pink flowers. None of the flowers were red, none of the flowers were white. Now students, today we will deal with the concept of codominance, which is again the exception to the law of dominance. Now students, in codominance, co means together. What do you mean by the term co? Together. So here the two alleles will neither show dominant recessive relationship, nor will they show the blending, or you can say nor will they show the intermediate condition. But both the alleles when present together will express themselves simultaneously. That condition is called as a codominance. Codominance means together, that is both the alleles will express their characters. So first of all, we will deal with the definition of codominance. So students, when two alleles neither show dominant recessive relationship nor show intermediate condition, but both of them express simultaneously, then this condition is known as codominance. So codominance means when the two alleles present together, none of the allele will show the dominant recessive relationship, nor will they show the intermediate condition. That is, they do not follow the law of dominance, nor do they show incomplete dominance. But both the alleles will express simultaneously. Then this condition is called as codominance. So here students, when both the alleles which are present together in the heterozygous individuals, they express their traits independently, and these alleles are called as codominant alleles. When both the alleles are present together in a heterozygous individuals, both of them expresses their character simultaneously, then such alleles are called as the codominant allele, and the expression of this codominant allele is called as codominance. So here in the F1 generation, it resembles both the parents. See, in the dominant law, or in the law of dominance, what was the condition in the F1 generation? F1 generation resembled only one parent. Recall Mendel's law or recall Mendel's monohybrid experiment. We have seen that when pure tall pea plant and when pure dwarf pea plants were crossed, then all the plants of the F1 generation were tall. None of the plant were dwarf, right? In the incomplete dominance, when we crossed the red colored dog flower with the white colored dog flower, then in the F1 generation we got the pink flowers. None of the flowers were red, none of the flowers were which colored? White colored. But in codominance, what happens in the F1 generation? Alleles of, or you can say both the characters get expressed in the F1 generation. So we will study the codominance by taking the examples of the human ABO blood group system. So now we take the example of different types of RBCs which determine the ABO blood groups in humans. So here we will be taking the example of ABO blood grouping in human beings to explain the concept of codominance. Now students, in human beings, the blood group is determined by a gene called I. By a gene called I. Capital I is a gene which will determine the blood group in the human. Students, here we will study two concepts simultaneously. One concept is codominance and another one is multiple alleles, which I will talk to you in the later part of the topic. Now students, I told you that in human beings the blood group is determined by gene I. Now students, on the surface of the RBCs, that is plasma membrane of the RBCs, it have the sugar polymers. The plasma membrane of the RBCs, it contains the sugar polymers, and this sugar polymer, they protrude on the outer side of the plasma membrane. Basically the sugar present is the glycoprotein. What is present? Glycoprotein. So the plasma membrane of the RBCs, it have the sugar polymers which are basically the glycoprotein which protrude from its surface, and the kind of the sugar is controlled by the gene. Listen very carefully students. The plasma membrane of the RBCs contains the sugar, and these sugars occur in the protruded form. Basically they are protruded towards the outer side. Now which kind of sugar? Basically it is a glycoprotein. Now which type of sugar is synthesized? It is dependent upon the gene I. So basically the I gene represents the sugar. So basically it is called as antigen, which is present on the surface of the RBC. Now students, two terminology, one is antigen and another one is the antibody. So surface of the RBCs contain the sugars, and these sugars, which kind of sugar will be present, will be controlled by the gene I. So that gene I, it represents the antigen which will form the sugar. Now students, the gene I told you that the surface of the RBCs contain the sugar polymer, and the production of the sugar is controlled by the gene I. Now this gene I have how many alleles? It have 3 alleles. Normally students, we know that allele is a different form of this, or you can say same form of the genes are called as allele. But when a gene have more than 2 alternative forms, what are they called as? Multiple allele. So now this gene I, it consists of how many alleles? 3 alleles. Which are those 3 alleles? One is IA, another one is IB, and another one is small I. The gene I produces, or it have 3 alleles, IA, IB and I small I, right? Now what are the difference between this? When we talk about IA and IB allele, they will produce the sugar. IA, capital IA and capital IB. When these alleles are there, they will produce the sugar, and the sugar produced by IA and from each other. So basically when capital I gene is there, it indicates it will form the sugar, and when small I gene is there, it indicates that there won't be the production of the sugar. That is, when IA and IB are there, they will produce the sugars. Sugars produced by both of them will be slightly different from each other. And when allele small I is there, then it does not produce any sugar. So there are two things. When capital I gene is there, then there are two possibilities, IA and IB. This IA and IB gene will produce the sugar, and when only small I gene is there, then there won't be the production of the sugar. Now students, we human beings being diploid, each person possesses any two of the three I gene allele. Now human beings are which type of organisms? Diploid organisms. Right. So in human beings, of these three alleles, which three alleles? IA, IB and small I. Of these three allele, in human being, any two allele may be present. Clear students? Human beings being diploid organisms will contain any two of these three alleles. Now students, how will this allele express? We will see that. Now students, the IA and IB allele, they are completely dominant over small I gene. That is, capital I gene is dominant over small I, which means when IA and small I gene is present, which character will be expressed? Character of IA will be expressed. That is, there will be the production of the sugar. Similarly, when IB and I is present, who will express its character? IB will express its character. That is, there will be the production of sugar. Why this is happening? Because the small I gene does not produce any sugar. So, when capital I gene is present along with small I. Now, capital I gene may be IA or it may be IB. When these genes are present along with the small I gene, then which character get expresses? The character of capital IA and IB get expressed. Why? Because capital IA and capital IB are responsible for development of the sugar, and small I gene does not develop the sugar. But now students, a question arises. I told you that human being, any two of these conditions will be present. Any two of the alleles, any two of these three alleles will be present in human beings. I told you that if IA and I occurs together, IA will express the character. IB and small I is present, IB will express the character. But what if both IA and IB genes or alleles are present together? So, in this condition, that is, when both IA and IB are present together, then both of them will express together and will produce the own types of sugar. Are you getting my point? When both IA and IB genes are present together, then both of them will express their characters, that is, both of them will produce their own types of sugar, and this condition is called as the codominance. That is, both IA and IB are expressing its character. Both of them are producing their own types of sugar on the surface of the RBCs. So, what will happen in this condition? Their RBCs have both A and B types of the sugar. So, when IA gene and IB gene are present in an individual, then on the surface of the RBCs, some of the RBCs will contain A type of sugar and some of them will contain the B type of sugars. That is, both the types of the sugar will be present on the surface of the RBC. Now students, as there are 3 alleles, right? How many alleles are there? 3 alleles. Which are those 3 alleles? Capital IA, capital IB and small I. So how many combinations are possible? 6 combinations, because human beings being diploid, it will contain how many gene of these 3? 2. So 3 into 2, 6 combinations, resulting in the development of the 6 different types of the genotypes. So now what are the genotypes and what are the phenotypes expressed by these 6 different genotypes? Students, so is it like that all these 6 different genotypes develop the 6 phenotypes? No students. Of the 6 genotypes, only 4 types of the phenotypes are possible. So we will study what are the genotypes and phenotypes developed from these 3 alleles. So we will study the combinations, that is, which type of blood groups will be present. So students, in codominance we have seen that basically when 2 alleles are present, both the alleles will express their character simultaneously. None of the allele will show dominant recessive relationship, nor will they show the incomplete dominance. We have seen the common example of the codominance is blood group system, right? So in human beings, the blood group is controlled by gene I, and this gene have how many alleles? 3 alleles, IA, IB and small I. Now how can we determine the blood group of an individual? Say for example, we will form a box, see, allele from parent 1, allele from parent 2, we both human beings being diploid, one of the allele will come from mother, one of the allele will come from father. By combination of this, we will get the genotype, and through genotype we can determine the phenotype. Say for example, from parent A, the allele coming is IA. From parent 2, it is IA again. So what will be the genotype? IA. Now students, we told you that both of these are in which condition? Homozygous condition. So what will be the blood group of the person? It will be A. So when the alleles from both the parents are IA, then the genotype will be this, and the blood group of that particular offspring will be A blood group. When IA is allele from one parent, small I is the allele from other parent, what is the genotype of the offspring? IA and I. So now students, I told you, when this condition arises, IA is dominant over small I. So who will express its character? IA will express the character. Small I gene remains recessive. IA develops the A type of the sugar. So the blood group of the offspring will be A blood group. Now students, if the allele coming from one parent is IB, from the other parent again is IB, then what will be the genotype of the offspring? IB. Both of them will produce the sugar. Blood group of the person will be B. Similarly, one parent's allele is IB, other parent's allele is small I. The genotype will be IB and small I. Here IB being dominant over small I, B will produce the sugar and the blood group of the person will be B. Now students, the allele IA is coming from one parent, IB allele is present in the other parent, the offspring's genotype will be IA and IB. Now students, I told you, when both of these alleles are present together, IA and IB, both of them will express the character and produce own type of the sugar. So here both the alleles as being expressed, the blood group of the person will be AB. And if from both the parents small I allele is coming in the offspring, the genotype of the offspring will be small I, which indicates that that offspring won't produce the sugar, and the blood group of the offspring will be O. So, these are the 6 different genotypes, but the phenotypes developed are only, this is A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group and O blood group. So there are 4 phenotypes possible from how many genotypes? 6 genotypes. From the 6 genotypes, 4 phenotypes are possible. Now as you can, from this we can say that the blood groups are inherited. So suppose if you are given the blood group of any two of their persons, suppose if you are given the blood group of the mother, if you are given the blood group of the father, and you need to tell the blood group of the offspring or of the child, will you be able to say, will you be able to predict the blood group of the child? Yes. Say for example, we take an example. Suppose the blood group of the mother is B and of the father the blood group is O. Now students, tell me, what are the possible genotypes for the blood group B? We have seen either it may be IB or it may be IB and I. And for the O blood group, only one possibility is there, that is small I. Now how will we determine the blood group of the child? How will we determine the blood group of the child? So we will cross this with this and this with this. First possibility, suppose the parents are IB with small I. So students, here all the gametes formed will be IB and here gametes form will be I. So all the offsprings will have the genotype IB and I. If the genotype is IB and I, what blood group it indicates? It indicates the B blood group. Now the second possibility, that is IBI with I and I. So here students, what are the gametes produced? One will be IB, another will be I, and here both the gametes are small I. So what will be the F1 generation? IB and small I. Again this is IB and small I. Lastly again small I. This indicates B blood group, this indicates B blood group, this indicates O blood group, this indicates O blood group. So now students, what are the possibilities? Which blood groups are possible in child? Here you get B, here B and O. So child may be either of the blood group B or it may be of the blood group O. So if the blood groups of any two of them are known, we can determine the blood group of the other. Now students, The blood group system also provides the another example of the multiple alleles. Blood group determines, it also shows the codominance. Along with the codominance, blood group also shows the multiple alleles. So what are multiple alleles? More than 2 alternative forms of a gene or more than 2 alleles for a gene which occupies the same locus on the chromosome or its homologue. What is it known as? It is known as the multiple allele. More than 2 alternative forms of gene. Here for the blood group system, the gene I have how many alleles? 3 alleles, IA, IB and small I. So as there are more than 2 alternative forms of the gene which are located on the homologous or which are located on the same position on the chromosome, what is it called as? Multiple allele. More than 2 alternative forms of allele gene occupying the same locus on the chromosome or its homologue, it is called as the multiple allele. And here we have seen that blood groups, they have how many? The blood group is controlled by gene I, and this gene I has how many alleles? It have 3 alleles. Which are the 3 alleles of gene I? The 3 alleles are IA, IB and small I. These are the 3 alleles, and therefore the human blood group system also provides the example of the multiple alleles. So students, we will study multiple allele taking the other example too. Now students, for dominance we have seen that either the Mendel's law of dominance is followed, where in a heterozygous condition one of the allele expresses its character and does not allow the expression of the other allele. One which expresses the allele was a dominant allele, one which does not expresses the character is called as the recessive allele. In the incomplete dominance we have seen that in heterozygous condition none of the parental character is observed, but an intermediate condition was seen, right? And in codominant condition we have seen that both the alleles expresses their character. These were the 3 possibilities we have seen. But students, sometimes one gene product produces more than one effect. Sometimes one gene product produces more than one effect. You will study in the later part of the chapter that this phenomenon is called as the pleiotropism. What is pleiotropism? We will study later on. But in certain condition, a single gene produces more than one effect. Here we will take the example of starch synthesis in pea plant, which is controlled by one gene. The starch synthesis in pea seeds, it is controlled by one gene. Say for example, this gene has 2 alleles. One allele is capital B and another allele is small b. In pea plant, see, we are studying that one gene product is, or you can say, it is producing more than one effect. One gene produces more than one effect. Example we are taking about the starch synthesis in pea seeds, which is controlled by one gene. Now this gene has 2 alleles, capital B and small b. Now again, how many possibilities are there? Capital B, small b and capital B, small b. When students capital B alleles are present, or in you can say homozygous capital B condition, the starch is synthesized effectively. More starch synthesis take place and therefore large starch grains are produced. The size of the large starch grains will be large in the homozygous capital B condition. Now, small b condition. In this condition, there is less efficiency in the synthesis of the starch. This results in the production of the smaller starch grains. We have talked about the 2 conditions. One condition is capital B, where Starch synthesis is very effective, which results in the production of the large starch grains. Another condition is small b, where there is less efficiency in starch synthesis and it produces the smaller starch grain. Now students, when these particular seeds mature, what is the condition? Capital B seeds, they are round in shape, and small b seeds, they are wrinkle in shape. So see students, the effect. One effect is the size of the starch grains and another one is the shape of the seeds. In one condition, starch grains are larger in size. In one condition, starch grains are smaller in size. Seeds, when they mature, what effect do they give? Capital B seeds are round and small b seeds are wrinkled. Now students, in the heterozygous condition, capital B, small b. So when this condition arises in the heterozygous condition, it produces which type of seeds? Round seeds. Now students, when our round seeds produce, capital B results in the formation of the round seeds. But students, when the heterozygous condition arises, that is capital B, small b, which kind of seeds are produced? Round seeds are produced. So from this we can say that B might be dominant over small b, right? Capital P is dominant over small b. Why? Because it have produced which type of seeds? Round seeds. Now students, round seed, it means that it should contain which type of starch grains? It should contain large starch grain. Are you getting my point students? When capital B condition is there, the starch grains are large and the seeds are round. When small b condition is there, starch grains are smaller and the seeds are wrinkled. In the heterozygous condition, capital B, small b, which type of seeds are produced? Round seeds are produced, which means that it seems that capital B is dominant over small b. So according to us, which type of starch grain should be produced in a heterozygous condition? It should be larger starch grains. But this is not the result students. In the heterozygous condition where the seeds are round, but here the size of the starch grain is intermediate. So here the starch grains are of intermediate size in capital B, small b. That is, they are neither larger starch grains nor the smaller starch grains. They are intermediate between larger and smaller. So students, if we consider starch grain as the starch grain size as the phenotype, so then we can say that it shows which type of condition? Incomplete dominance. See students, this gene is showing two effects. One is the starch grain size and another one is the shape of the seed. Now, these are the two phenotypes shown by this gene, right? Which gene? The gene B, right? Which have two, right? These are the three forms of these genes. Now this gene shows two effects: size of the starch grain and shape of the seeds. Now when we consider starch grain size as the phenotype, when we consider starch grain size as the phenotype, then this gene shows which type of effect? Incomplete dominance. Why? Because in the heterozygous condition, when this gene is present, then the starch grain size are of intermediate size. But when we consider shape of the seed as the phenotype, then it shows which condition? It shows the dominance condition, right? So now this gene shows two effects: size of the starch grain and shape of the seeds. So students, we can say that dominance is not an autonomous feature of a gene or product that has in the information for. What does it mean? That dominance is not an autonomous feature. Dominant कोई जीन का particular autonomous feature नहीं है, ना ही the product for which it has information. But it depends. What dominance depends on? It depends as much on the gene product and production of phenotype from this product as it does on the particular phenotype that we have chosen to examine. That is, in this case, more than one phenotype is influenced by the same gene. So we can say that dominance depends more on the gene product and the phenotype, same way on the phenotype that we have chosen. Say for example, if we take starch grain size as the phenotype, then it shows what? Incomplete dominance. But if we consider shape of the seed as the phenotype, then it shows which character? Dominance character. So we can say that dominance is not an autonomous feature of a gene or product that it has information for. So this is how one gene product produces more than one effect. We conclude our topic here, students. In the next lecture, we will be studying regarding the inheritance of two genes. Thank you, students.